Werner von Braun was a high-ranking Nazi official and rocket scientist. Him and his colleagues produced the first guided missile known as the V-1 or the Buzz Bomb.
The Buzz Bomb was one of the first rockets made by von Braun that was used in the war front. In 1944 alone, over 1,300 deaths were related to V-1 bombings.
The V-2 rocket was the predecessor of the Saturn V. At the end of World War II, the American government wanted to obtain the Nazi rockets. The American government started Operation Paperclip, which changed Werner von Braun's record to say not a loyal Nazi. After 8 years of brutal fighting, Soviet forces entered Berlin, ending the reign of Nazi terror.
In the councils of government, we must guard against the acquisition of unwarranted influence, whether sought or unsought, by the military-industrial complex. The potential for the disastrous rise of misplaced power exists and will persist. We must never let the weight of this combination endanger our liberties or democratic processes.
By the end of the war, the Nazis had ridiculously advanced technology that America wanted. Yet what type of technology did these Nazi scientists achieve, and why were they so important to the United States? While Werner von Braun's rockets were mostly used for military applications, he dreamed of them one day being used for space exploration. The same interests were also found in a colleague of von Braun, Arthur Rudolph. Another interest in the United States was aeronautics, where engineer Hans Wolfram had pioneered the jet engine to be used in military and commercial applications. Along with aeronautics and rocketry, intelligence was also acquired into the United States. This is where spies Otto von Bolshoi and Reinhard Glenn would come into the picture. Where was all this technology developed? Dora Labor Camp, Nordhausen, Germany. Under the sprawling concentration camp is a large factory and laboratory used for experimentation on humans and the production of rockets. The camp was so efficient at producing rockets that it was renamed Middlework, or Foundry in English. It is estimated that the camp produced 1,500 rockets per year during the war. The rocket was produced using slave labor, and workers were usually starved and beaten to work harder. Slaves would usually die from starvation or being overworked, and if not, they were executed. On top of being worked to death, Nazi scientists also experimented on concentration camp victims. For instance, the Roma water tests, where scientists saw if 100 gypsies could survive on salt water mixed with bromine. Only 3 of the gypsies survived. Victims usually consisted of the Roma, Russians, and the most common of all, Jews. Yet, at the end of the war, none of the Nazi scientists nor engineers that were working at Andorra were committed for war crimes. Instead, these scientists moved to America through a project called Operation Overcast. the American Office of Strategic Services bleached their records to make sure that they weren't affiliated with any concentration camps in Germany. In 1946, the Office of Strategic Services was dismissed and replaced by the Central Intelligence Agency, or CIA. They began recruiting Nazi officers and turning them into American intelligence agents. Other Nazi scientists began working for the military as directors of many aeronautics and rocketry programs throughout the United States. The United States military welcomed the Nazis, and instead of putting them on trial, they gave them grants to continue working on technologies they were working on in Germany. It wasn't long until the public found out about Operation Overcast. They fiercely protested the immigration of Nazi scientists into the United States. Instead of quitting on the project, the US government decided to rename it Operation Paperclip. Yet, what would these immigrants contribute to the United States? What legacy would Operation Paperclip leave? July 12, 1969.
Countdown for Apollo 11, the flight to land of the first men on the moon.
For Vaughn von Braun, years of hard work had finally paid off.
Minutes past the hour. Coming up shortly, that swing arm up at the spacecraft level will come back to its fully retracted position. This should occur at the 5-minute mark in the count. The swing arm now
Operation Paperclip was a program that brought Nazi scientists over to the United States.
The swing arm now coming back. 4 minutes and counting, we are go for Apollo 11.
While the program brought the US ahead technologically, it was at the cost of thousands of lives back in Germany. Yet there's one question to ask. Was it really worth it?